Hey, how's it going, guys? We just finished watching SmackDown's TLC 2016. We're going to review the show here, go down every match. Had a couple title changes, a great main event, pretty solid show from top to bottom. Besides the main event, everything else, didn't really blow you away, but it was done really well. It's just like typical SmackDown. Kind of almost breezed through it. 6 matches, just under 3 hours of a pay-per-view show. But everything was done well. All the matches were given time to tell their stories, and I was pretty satisfied overall with the show. And so right now we're gonna go down the card, go over the matches, give my thoughts, and see what holds for the future with these guys. So let's get right into it. The opening match, we had Bray Wyatt and Randy Orton go against Heath Slater and Rhyno for the SmackDown Tag Team titles. Well, pretty much what we can say here is that the new Wyatt family are just continuing to roll, dominating. It came right in, and it was a pretty short match. It was under 6 minutes long, and Wyatt and Orton, for lack of a better term, almost squashed Heath Slater and Rhyno. Slater and Rhyno didn't look bad or anything. Just Wyatt and Orton, they made them just look dominant, and they continue to establish that this is a group. This isn't something where Orton is going to just turn on them right away. It could still ultimately happen. If they were going to do it quick, it seemed like they would do it right here. If he didn't want to be with those guys, why would he want to win the tag team titles? And that's just what they did. They won the SmackDown tag team titles. Bray Wyatt gets his first ever title in the WWE, which is surprising. But he's a guy who really doesn't need a title to kind of establish his character. Those kind of darker characters, don't necessarily need the titles. They're kind of their own level of character. Almost like the Undertaker. I mean, of course he's won many titles, but he didn't really have too many long title heavyweight reigns, because his own match was his own thing, and that's kind of what Bray Wyatt is. But it's still nice to see him get some gold or silver in this matter, and because you still want him to have a nice resume, and so I gave the match 3 stars. It seems almost high for such a short match, but not even with the match quality. I just like how it was done. You can even go back to the Goldberg and Brock Lesnar match, where it was so quick and a squash. It was surprising, but it was done so well. Not all the matches need to be really long. If you're gonna establish some people as being completely dominant, they're gonna win. They're gonna win quick, and these guys are as good as Slater and Rhyno have been. They did their job. They got, Slater did the free agent thing. He got his foot in the door. He's got a character. He got a face run. He's done what he needs to do. And so Orton and Wyatt are clearly just way above those guys. They're main event level people. So and the match length kind of showed how much more dominant they are. The interesting thing, takeaway from this, at the conclusion of the match, you had Luke Harper there also, and at first it was kind of looking like he might be a little jealous or something, that Wyatt and Orton are the tag champs, but what they did was each Wyatt and Orton put their tag team titles on Luke Harper's shoulders as kind of a sign of unity. And I thought that was really interesting, and what that tells me is that, going forward, I think they're going to do kind of like the Freebird, New Day, even Demolition, 3-man team, tag team title rule. And I think that's great. If the New Day are doing it and you got 3 guys in the stable, I think that's a good way to incorporate Harper more involved in the group. And like I said, they're showing that this is going to be a dominant unit. So I really enjoyed that, and looking forward to see Luke Harper in the mix now, because he's a great wrestler, and I don't want him to be kind of left on the wayside. So that's where it looks like going forward. The Wyatt family dominant, and like we said in the preview, whoever beats these guys for the titles is going to look really good. So this is good that the tag team titles are elevated, and then the next team that beats them, whether it be American Alpha, which seems like kind of like the obvious next team up, if they beat them, they're going to look great for beating a dominant team. So I hope they have a little bit of a lengthy run. It doesn't need too long. I mean, if they want to go to WrestleMania, or if they're going to break up before WrestleMania, if they're going to eventually do Wyatt versus Orton, I'm not sure. But I still like them all together. So if they're not going to have a match against each other, I'd like to see them, maybe against Alpha, or maybe a multi-man match, something like that. But I'd like to see a 2-on-2 match built up with Wyatt and Orton versus American Alpha, maybe for WrestleMania. So we'll see where it goes. But dominant win for Orton and Bray Wyatt, and now Luke Harper involved too as the tag team champs.